Okay, I'm in Server 2016 and I have opened a bunch of VMs. So if I mouse over, you can see the various VMs that are open. And if you want to open additional VMs, you can just simply right-click and choose from the list. So I've launched MegaPing here in Server 2016, and there are a lot of things MegaPing can do. So I can do things live on the internet, and I can also go on our network here. So I'm going to do a few things on our network here. And you'll notice one of the first things is it opens right to system info, meaning this system, Server 2016. And I can see the net stat, I can see the various connections. Let me just expand this here. So I'm expanding this so we can see that we're listening on various ports. We can see some statistics. We can see interfaces. We have one interface here that's live. We can see the route table. We can see our ARP cache. So there are a bunch of things in the system we can do right now. We could go to process info, which is pretty cool. And I can just kind of look and see various processes. I can see applications that I, as a user, have launched. I can see just some details. And these are things, of course, that you can just get off the operating system itself. So let's just go, if I can get this thing to stabilize here, to the IP scanner. Looks like sometimes you click something and it keeps on trying to refresh. If this keeps on not responding, we're going to shut it off and reopen it. Okay, looks like we have to close this tool. It got unstable on us. Okay, I'm going to go to the IP scanner right now. And let's scan a range, but there's a drop-down box. We could pick host domain, pick from a file. We could pick a range. Let's pick our own subnet here. In my case, 192.168.75.1 to 254. I mean, we could try the broadcast address, but we won't. Let's show the MAC addresses, but let's not bother resolving names. Let's start. And let's see if we can get it to just scan. So this is cool. So I can see different IP addresses here. And it's working on it. It can show that these right off the bat are live. Okay, we're just about done. We're getting there. See the progress here? As soon as it's done, we'll examine what we have, and we'll just take a look at a few things. Are we all done here? Okay. So it's kind of nice how it sorted it out. It found the ones that are live, shows the MAC addresses, and it shows the addresses here. So I've got these, and that's kind of cool. I could right-click any one of these, and I could copy, or I could try to whois or traceroute. And so now, let's see if we can do a NetBIOS scanner. So who's running the Microsoft File and Print service, the server service? 192.168.75. Oops, it'd be good if I typed this properly. 192.168.75.1 to 192.168.75.254. Who is running Microsoft NetBIOS server service? So let's see, I've got a few right off the bat. More are being checked. And while we're waiting for this, I could ping, I could trace, I could look for shares, I could see if I could get any security info. Okay, so well, not quite done. Getting there, getting there. We can see over here statistics on hosts, 4 hosts already. Out of a total of 134, it's going up more. We've got 254 to do. It's going to be there pretty soon. So if we needed to, we could set some settings, but we've already committed to this scan. So we can see that there's some stuff already showing up, and we can see that 4 hosts over here are running NetBIOS out of 254. 250 are not, so therefore they're a failed scan. And I can expand this. I can see NetBIOS names. And in NetBIOS, if you have the IP address, and then you have the sort of the service after the name. If it's in hex 00, that means it's workstation. If it's in hex 0 or hex 20, that means it's a server. And so then we can also see if there's a workgroup name as well. The domain name, if this was Active Directory, would not be 00, it would be something else. So there's no domain, it's just a workgroup here, and I can see adapter address, meaning the MAC address, and I can scan these and expand them and look a little farther and see all of these. So I can see 131 is Metasploitable, and that's because it's running the Samba service, even though it's Linux. And 8 is Windows 8. So okay, the NetBIOS scanning was pretty cool. How about if we select Share Scanner, and again, from the this whole selection, why don't we just try a few of them from 192.168.75.8 to what was let's see, in NetBIOS, what were the addresses here? So we had 8, 131, 12. Let's go up to, in the Share Scanner, 131. Let's go up to 131 and start. And let's see what we've got. See if there are any shares. Aha, it's showing up the shares right away. And so it's scanning up to our IP address for Metasploitable. And we can then see in just a moment the various shares. So we can see Metasploitable has shares. And we can also see, if we look here, that 2012 has shares. There's admin dollar, C dollar, IPC dollar, all hidden shares. Pretty cool that it's showing the hidden shares. And same thing on 2016. And if we expanded them, we could get more details. Now this is cool. I like this. Local path. Wonder if we can find that up for some of these others. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. It's finding out some stuff. So C dollar, it's an administrative share. It is physically on that machine on the C drive. Unlimited users. On this particular machine, the admin dollar is C:\Windows default share. IPC dollar, which is a process. It's so that processes can collaborate on the network. So some pretty cool stuff that showed up here. Now, this is a Samba service shared resource for, or no, Windows 8 shared resource. No details on it here. Now, where's the Samba service one? We scroll down. Maybe it's up. Oh, here it is. And no details. We clicked it, try to get to it, try to actually go to it, see if this will actually connect us. And yep, it's prompting us to log on. And we could log on MSF admin, because we know that Metasploitable has the username and password are both MSF admin. Click OK. Oh, looks like I didn't type that properly. MSF admin. And, I'm on Windows 8. No wonder I clicked the wrong one. So it's not going to be MSF admin. Not for Windows 8. And let's try to go to 131. If I open up 131, this will be MSF admin. MSF admin to MSF admin. And press enter, and sure enough, there are the various shares. So pretty cool there. All right, what else we got? Security scanner. Oh, I wonder what we can get out of this. Let's just find out. Select a range. Okay, if we did a security scan on the range that we had, 192.168.75.8 to, what was that, 131? Let's see how far we can go. Let's just start. Who knows? See if there's anything to be had. We'll click that, see if there's anything. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of stuff. Is there anything? So we have on 8, seems to be running as soon as it's done. Looks like 8 is running SNMP. Well, let's scroll back up here. All right, security alerts. Okay, is it done? It looks like it. Looks like it. Okay, so on Windows 8, oh, not quite done. Shows that it's 32%. Tell you what, I'm going to pause this video and I'm going to come back as soon as we're done. Okay, it looks like we're done. All right, so starting with Windows 8, we can see the NetBIOS names, and we can see the adapter MAC address. We can see the domain, but in this case it's a work group. There's no SNMP. If there are shares, we can double click one and try to go to it. No sessions, any printers, modems, TCP ports. Let's expand that. We can see some ports. And the shares, it's trying to prompt us to log into the shares. Okay, so at least we can see some information. And when we go back up, oh, this is so cool. Look at 16. We have security alerts, including some password information, the NetBIOS names, the shares, which if we double clicked, it probably prompt us. Oh, no, it went straight to it. The sessions, so we can see that there's a connection. Configuration info. Oh, I'm loving this. Platform, NT version 10. Well, that's because it's server 2016. Number of users. Well, it doesn't truly have that many users. Software record types. So we can see some information about it. Path to user directories, just the C drive. Okay, how about users? These are the actual users. So this number of users must be a maximum. Okay, got any groups? How about this? Look at all those groups. It enumerated all this stuff. That's so awesome. Transports. Okay, so NetBIOS over TCP and NetBIOS SMB. That's the old style NetBIOS. Local drives, C and D. Wow, remote time of day. Look at all this stuff we're getting out of it. It's been up for this amount of time. We can see the ports. We can see the services running. Look at all that enumeration. That is so awesome. This is off of one machine. And let's see, what else can we get out of this thing? There is just so much stuff to be had out of this. Drivers. Oh yeah, what versions of drivers? That's wild. Talk about some awesome enumeration. Whoa. And what else can we get out of this thing? Installed programs? Are you kidding me? Look at that. Oh my goodness, that is so wild. Okay. But I'm willing to bet it's because it's the very machine we ran on. So that's still some pretty cool stuff. So we could right-click any of these and save or export to file. So that's some pretty cool stuff here. Let's see. If we were to run this, let's see, what's operations? Let's click operations. So we look for all these things. And in ports, if we click ports, we look for various ports and we can see the port range. In settings, we've got some settings for throughput and timeout. And if we thought we were hitting like network devices or Linux devices that are configured to respond to SNMP, we could put in the community string. Community string is simply, it's a way that SNMP managers will query the devices, but it's kind of like a workgroup name in a way. It's like a really primitive sort of identifier where the manager says, hey, I'm in the public group, or my community string is public. And if a device is also public, then it will respond to the manager. If it's not public, then it won't. And you can set the community string to be anything you want. So I've used public, private, Observium. I've used a bunch of different community strings in production. So those are some settings that we can set. So that's pretty cool. We can do the port scanning. We already saw that already. Host monitor. Wow, that would be some pretty cool stuff. We could look for alerts and logs on our host. Let's see, what else can we do? We could do a traceroute and a whois and a ping. And we could finger, which is an old network protocol to get information about someone who's logged on to a remote host. So we could do a traceroute right now, and we could add something. We want to do a traceroute. We could, let's see. We could do DNS lookups. We could do a whois. Do some whois here. And there's a bunch of stuff, a bunch of queries that we could put in. So this is some really cool stuff here. We could whois, like notice that this is doing a whois against something and using a particular whois server. And so here are just some whois settings here. So MegaPing has the ability to do quite a bit of stuff. If I click tools, I can see a bunch of things. Do the whois, or rather, if I pick traceroute, there's just a bunch of stuff that we can choose here. Really cool stuff. DNS lookups. So anyway, I encourage you to just play around a little bit with MegaPing because it is a versatile tool.